Howdy folks, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new editor tutorial for War in the East 2. So in this tutorial I would like to discuss about a topic that is not present in the editor manual of War in the West, and nor that is present in any of these action tabs here, even though I don't know if they're called action tabs, but yeah, let's call them action tabs, which is, as you can see from the title, the map and the hex editor. So the goal of this tutorial is just to show you guys where all the functions are, because especially for this aspect of the game, I never really dove deep enough to give you a detailed explanation of what to do, what not to do. But briefly, as you can see here, one way to play around with the map limits is to set here the coordinates. You can pick any hex on the map, like for instance, we can choose 205, 1 to 4. 205, 1 to 4, and now yeah, the every hex, let's say north and west of these selected hex won't be playable anymore. And yeah, I don't know why here it says 1110, but oh yeah, I think it's this. Okay, yeah. Anyway, so to activate the hex and map editor, you need to use a specific keyboard setting. And if we quickly go here, you need to have the English keyboard setting of the UK. Because only with the, say, UK keyboard, when you press the tilde key, if you don't know what the tilde key is this one here, shown here in this image. But when you press it, this is how the map hex and city edit mode editor, let's say, looks like. If you zoom out, you get overwhelmed by all the names of the cities and blah blah blah. And if you don't want to see all these weird black shadows, you just have to use the closest zoom. And here you have a series of tabs. Here you have the city. You can play around with nationalities and blah blah blah. What I've been playing around were mostly the scenario, the road, and the control. Regarding the nationality, I don't know. If you want to play around, feel free to do it. Tile allows you to modify each individual tile, you know, from plain to light woods and blah blah blah. You can also play around with other things such as rail, borders, rivers, and so on and so forth. Please mind that I never touched this tab over here, so I really don't know how to, for instance, add a new railways. If you want to do it, feel free to experiment by yourself. Text is quite intuitive. If you click on text, you have to be patient because the game will need some time to load everything, all the text. And with text I mean not only the names of the cities, but also, for instance, the names of the rivers, yeah, all villages, this one here, and so on and so forth. Black Sea, all these text basically. Control. Now, for control, there are two ways of adjusting the control of the hex, who controls specific hexes. You can micromanage this function by going on one of the sides. For instance, we are now on the Soviet side, and by clicking on a specific hex, and you press the button U. By pressing U, you now gain control of this hex. If you press W, you switch faction, and by pressing U again, you switch back this hex to the axis control. Of course, when you want to do something like I did here, for instance, to recreate the 1942 let's say the beginning of Case Blue in 1942. Well, had I manually selected all of these hexes, I would have gone insane, without doubt. But you can easily change the control of the hexes by selecting the control. And here you can say either set by line. Line means that you start from one hex and then with the right... why is not... Alright, sorry. Axis. Now I want to say this hex is controlled by the axis, and yeah, exactly. By clicking on exactly, you have to click on one of the axis controlled hexes, you draw a line, and then all of the hexes in this line will be switched to the axis control. You can also do it by square, by clicking here, and if you click, for instance, on this hex, now all of the hexes included in this virtual square will be assigned to the axis control. You can edit the C, you can edit the weather zone. Again, it's really up to you to do it. And then you have here the scenario. Now, okay, I don't know why even by pressing 0 it still says 110. But anyway, so in this tab you can play around with individual hexes, namely making hexes passable or impassable, as I shown here on map or either off map. And to do so, you need first of all to add a tag. You can have a tag, and for the sake of this tutorial I will call it test. And okay, now this hex is tagged as a test, but let's say we can assign this, this, and this, and maybe even this, this, and this. So now I have tagged these hexes, and if I go out of the X editor, you see that nothing changes, unlike, for instance, here. Also, spoiler alert, as you can see, I'm recording this tutorial with version 1.3 of my 1942 campaign, which at the time of recording this tutorial is still like work in progress, so it will become available hopefully soon. Now, back to the hexes. If you want to simply bring these hexes off map, you have to do just a right click. As you can see now, this hex is labeled as off map, and if you go out of the hex editor mode, here you go. Now this hex is impassable. No unit can go through it, and if you can do the same with all of the others. And ta-da! Now these hexes are impassable. How to make hexes passable again? Well, for this you will have to wait until the event editor tutorial, because only via the event editor you can make these hexes passable again. And the last but not least deals with roads. So you see this button here, copy from nation data. Absolutely do not click on it, otherwise you will erase all of the saved road information. Like, it will remove everything. But if you want to add a new road, for instance, we can think about adding a road from Elista to Lagan. Well, in this case, it's very simple. You need to select, in this case, sorry, I was burping a little bit. In this case, average. Why? Because even if you don't have roads, as you see here, I have still poor roads. So even if I leave here poor roads, it won't add anything because there are already poor roads here. So I need to click on average, and then I can just manually drag a road over here. And now I have added a new road. But of course, if I click on here, the road is not visible. And to make it visible, I think you need to go to tile and you need to go to road, and here you need to manually change the GUI, the graphic user interface of the roads to kind of match the existence of a new road in these regions here. You need to find which is the best, let's say, road symbol here in the list, and then you can manually put them here, so that once you press Ctrl R, you will see a road highlighted here as well. And with this, folks, I'm at the end already of this tutorial. And yes, as always, thank you very much for watching. Just to keep you, give you a short, let's say, program of the tutorials. I will go backward from the nation and weather tab and the CSV, and then I will talk about devices, aircraft, ground elements, TOE, and I will leave the units tab as the last one. I know this is probably the most interesting one, but we need to talk about at least devices, ground elements, and TOEs before talking about units. So be patient with me, and once we are done with the units, I will maybe record 2, 3 or more tutorials about the event editor, because there is a lot that must be talked about the event editor. And with this, folks, again, I thank you very much for watching. I thank you very much for supporting the channel. I wish you all the best, and well, I'll see you all again next week.